The club isn't the best place to find a lover, so the bar is where I go.
Ooh.
Me and my friends at the table doing shots, drinking fast, and then we talk slow. You come over and start up a conversation with just me, and trust me, I'll give it a chance. Now take my hand, stop, put the van on the jukebox, and then we start to dance. And now it's singing like, girl, you know I want your love. Your love is handmade for somebody like me. Come on down, follow my lead. I may be crazy, don't find me. Say, boy, let's not talk too much. Grab on my waist now, put that body on me. Come on now, follow my lead. Now, come on now, follow my lead.
That's awesome, guys. That's awesome. Thank you so much. That was amazing. It sounded great.
Oh, goodness. Ed Sheeran, watch out.
No,
I like someone that doesn't know lyrics.
He loves it. He loves it. Guys, thank you so much for being on the show. This is amazing. You are our first guest from Greece.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for having us. And I love your posts. I love what's going on. And I first of all, I love that you guys are doing what you're doing, and we're going to get into all that. We're going to talk all about that. But I just want to introduce everybody. So Greg is on the right side, and then Christos is on the left side, right? So just everybody when they're watching it, and they know who's who. Right, and then I'm in the middle on my side. That's all it is. Right. So you guys are in. Is it pronounced Mani or Mani, or how's it pronounced in Greece?
You explain it. Yeah, the Greek guy can explain.
The little peninsula on the Peloponnese, the middle peninsula there is Mani.
Mani. That's what I thought. I thought there was a little bit of a Greek thing.
Accent.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So I didn't want to butcher it by saying, hey, Mani. You know what I mean? It's not. Right, it's Mani. All right, so we've got the two guys. It's their Instagram handle is the #2guys.in.greece. And we're going to have this chat, which I've got a number of questions to ask about you guys building or renovating a 200-year-old house in Greece.
Both.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
it's a build and a renovation.
Yeah, that's right. So. You guys are expanding it. So it's like, are you both from, where are you guys originally from?
I grew up in Vancouver, but I'm a third generation Greek in Vancouver. So with heritage, I have roots down in the deeper into Mani, from Sparta and Corinth as well. So I came out here, I served in the military, and ended up being in Kalamata, and we would come out here for vacations all the time. And Greg fell in love with Greece too, and went up here, even though he's full straight up Canadian.
100% Canadian.
From Vancouver as well?
No, actually from a little small town, Cambridge, Ontario.
Oh, you're in Cambridge.
But I lived in...
Okay.
I'm from Cambridge, yeah.
Not too far from the studio. We've had some trades from Cambridge come in and record shows in the studio, so it's all good.
Fantastic.
So there is the Canadian connection. There's a Canadian connection going all the way to Greece. But I knew that there had to have been some sort of family connection to that area of Greece, right? And that's basically where it started, kind of thing?
Yeah, sort of, yeah. I basically, when I was in the military, I got transferred down to Kalamata, and Kalamata is the closest city to the Mani coastline.
Right.
And so I loved it here, got a little apartment, and I would vacation here. And when I met Greg, I would bring him here to vacation in Greece. And the way we ended up here is we came here in 2020 to try and hide from COVID a bit. And we went on a little road trip down the Mani coastline, and Greg saw all these stone towers and stone buildings. And he's like, are you going to buy me a stone house? You're going to buy me a stone house? And
yeah, there's actually something. I mean, I've seen stone houses in Canada, like they exist, but they're not the same. There's something magical about a stone house here. And it's just this, especially along the coast here, it's literally the only kind of style of house you see. But it doesn't match what most of us think about Greece, with the white houses and the concrete, or the
white and blue,
like rooftops and such from the island. So it's a very different rustic kind of look, which I fell in love with. I think it's amazing.
So basically you had the light bulb moment first. So you came up with the idea of why not tackle this that we've never done before.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we intended to buy something that was this in need of love and repair.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like to think we're young. We don't have a huge cash flow. So picking up a house on the side of a mountain for the price we did, it was totally overgrown.
Abandoned for 40 years.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So like a jungle, like an absolute jungle. So you can imagine most tourists coming in to see this place. We're just like, no, not touching this. And then we looked at it and we're like, we could cut these trees. That's fine.
And we fell in love. The house was like full of old artifacts, like the old, like an old loom and all the things like in the old hope chests and stuff from back in the day. And the view was just amazing. And then the style of the house, the way it's built, it is very specific to the Mani Peninsula. The way they would build it was like a fortification. The way the towers with the tiny little windows up top was for protection, because the families would actually have vendettas against each other and attack each other and stuff. So there's some pretty aggressive history, but Greece is very proud of that part of the history as well too. So
that's what I loved when I started looking at some of the videos and the images. I mean, because I'm a Sorian, right? So I'm from the Azores, and that's why I'm so intrigued by what you guys are doing, because it's on my list of things to do, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it myself. But when I looked at your place and what you guys are working on, it's very similar. We have lava rock that we do, and a lot of the homes are built with lava rock, but then you start getting other homes that are parged and they're stuccoed and it's white, and you've got the terracotta tile shingles and everything like that. So it's like, it's so similar, and that's why I was loving it. And every time I was watching some of the content, I wanted to basically just transport myself right in there, because I can see the narrow roadways, I can see the difficulties, but also when you climb all those little steps and you get to certain heights, you turn around and you basically see things that you do not see anywhere else in the world. That's what I loved about it. Yeah. So you guys, I mean, but you guys are not construction people. You're not like, you don't have the know-how.
We weren't.
Okay, but now that's what I'm saying. I'm getting to that. You guys are becoming that.
Yeah. I got a little bit of the construction property holdings bite from my side, my family.
Sure.
My mom, grandmother, uncle, everyone's realtor. And then my parents, like my dad was into construction, all that. So I experienced that with like some of our stuff in Vancouver. So I was like, it's not that bad. We can do it, and we tried to do a little bit of our research. We found an engineer before buying it. But just, realtors in Greece, that's a whole other
so that's
podcast,
what I want to get into, this whole world. Like, was that, let's start from the beginning. Was it a challenge to actually purchase the property? Was it a challenge to just get that ball? You guys are both laughing, all right? So it must have been.
So we purchased real estate in Vancouver, and
it's very streamlined.
That was the most, like we just knew what to do. It was easy. Here, I could never have done that by myself. There is absolutely no way. I just in my own world. I mean, maybe it's navigatable by other expats and other people visiting, but it is a very different experience here. Everything was controlled by a lawyer. There's still a family-oriented culture here, so all properties belong to a family who has many children and many grandchildren and many great-grandchildren, and as soon as one passes away, you're having to put those pieces back together. And really, I mean, this happens in Canada as well. But I think, like, when we bought the property, the real estate agent didn't know how the property worked. There was this wonderful line. We saw maps of this place, and there was this wonderful line going through the property. We never questioned it.
The realtor basically was just like, give your deposit now. Like, you're going to lose the place, give your deposit. And luckily we had a great lawyer, and the lawyer's like, whoa, everybody hold up. Like, let's do our research. You're not giving €1. And Greg, very emotional guy. I love him to death, but very emotional. He's like, we have to give our deposit. We're going to lose the house.
Get rid of the Canadian side of way of doing things, right?
Yeah. So I was trying
to remember, I wanted this house.
Yes, I get it. I get it.
Dreaming of.
Yeah.
So I was trying to be like more the let's be logical. So working with the lawyer, and our lawyer did all his research, and he actually found out that it's not one property. It was actually 2 properties. And the second property was actually in multiple names, with the owner and his daughter, and the second property was declared unbuildable land, unusable land.
Right.
And there was also an illegal extension onto the 200-year-old stone tower with another stone extension, and that extension was never declared. It was illegal, and it also was right on top of the middle of the 2 property lines. So it was a bit messy. But I do have to, we've heard horror stories in, Greece of like 8-10 years for paperwork and sales and things. Our lawyers were awesome. They got everything sorted out within about 2.5 months over Christmas, from like end of October till early February 2021. and we got it all figured out. And also when the way they did the paperwork and all that was that the first property was able to absorb the second property, so we would be able to gain the FSR on it. So it would be deemed buildable, which was great because otherwise it would have been useless to us. And where we're doing the big extension now is actually technically where that second property was. So luckily for the good planning and all that. And then when we went to go, the old contracts, when we sat there, I don't know if you saw on our Instagram, but Greg did a little timeline. We had like 38 pages of signing documents.
I saw a little bit of that. Yeah.
Yeah, the contract is all old school. So it's literally like this property neighboring by this person, which has a big boulder on the northwest side and a wooden oven and a 21 cubic meter water reservoir. So it's all descripted.
Written word for word to describe. There's no picture of the property. It's a description, a full novel on the property. Then
fast forward to 2022. So we have that part of the contract. And then there's addendums to the contract because now it's 2022. Greece is like fully jumped into the new age. It also had 54 GPS waypoints attached to that description from the previous contract. So it's like this whole package to make sure that this is our property now.
Right.
So that in Mani there, the town hall, I mean, how big is the city or how big is the village? How many people are there?
Oh, it's not even called a village.
It's not even a village, actually. It's a settlement.
That's what I figured. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, is it like someone's been keeping a track of all the homes there and what they've done to them and how it's been
actually.
Yeah.
There's actually a village deeper into Mani, which had the archive paperwork. So our lawyer had to like drive down the coastline, and it's a very mountainous region. Actually, Greece is 80% mountainous. A lot of people don't realize that. So our lawyer had to drive all the way down, go retrieve the paperwork, go redeclare the paperwork at this like office at some village, another 40 minutes down the coast, to a bigger village that was housing that paperwork.
Okay, so now you guys own the property, and now
we own it on the paperwork and the digital stuff too.
Okay, and now you've got this home that's been nothing for 50 years.
Yeah.
And obviously parts of it falling apart. I mean, I saw you guys rebuilding the one wall there. I know you guys talked a lot about the tower. I don't know how far along you guys are with the tower or where the work is. I saw some of the renderings, but now, I mean, what did that feel for you guys when you first took ownership of the property and you guys walk into this house and the amount of history and now what you guys want to do it for yourselves, right? How does that feel?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny to look back now because the amount we instantly were like, this is our new home. We can't live in it. It doesn't have heat or running water. We don't even know where the toilet would flush to. And yet we swept the floors.
We went to the hardware store.
We cleaned the place. We went to the hardware store probably for the first time in our lives to buy like actual hardware, actual equipment to like cut trees. And it was a weird experience, but we did it so that we could walk around the property and actually start to enjoy it and explore it a little bit more, but mostly just to be able to be on it without a tree poking you in the face. So we got it to a point where we could walk on this to find out that we had an arborist come in and like wipe out all the trees. We were laughing because we were like, the amount of work it took us, the weeks and
3
weeks of
3 weeks of
just chopping and cutting and scratching ourselves with, it was wild. To have this guy just in 2 or 3 days just clear the land.
Was it difficult? Because I mean, these were very mature olive trees that you guys were cutting.
And also because the settlement is actually on like a little caldera, so it's sort of like a bowl shaped. So a lot of the trees for 40 some odd years, they were fighting for light. So they were like 40, 50 foot tall olive trees going on a 45-degree angle. So the arborist was like, we have to cut these back significantly. They're dangerous. They're like the weight on them, you're going to be ripping out walls because our property actually has 11 layers to it. So so they were like just really going to town, and we were so sad because it was so magical. To just Greg actually recorded a video of just standing there the day before they started, of like the birds chirping, just hearing like, you could hear like in the far distance, like bouncing off the other mountain is like the bells from the goats, the sheep herders. You can hear the birds chirping. It's really cool. It's really magical.
It's a different kind of quiet up there. Yeah, so we cut these trees. I mean, the birds came back. Don't worry. Like we didn't injure too much of the habitat. They figured it out the next season, but yeah, we had to do it. It was and now we got firewood for years.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
So you guys get that. So now you own the property. It's somewhat cleaned up.
Yeah.
You got to get a designer. You got to get an architect now. None of that started yet.
Absolutely.
No. They came while we were doing our little cleanup. We thought we were all great. We brought the engineer and one of his architects from their team, and they started doing like with their lasers and started measuring the property because they've never had actual plans. And on the ground floor, there's like the mountain protruding into the house. You know, the walls are like 80 centimeters thick. So they had to do the whole like survey and everything to even create the original plans before we could even start planning anything.
I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but I wanted you guys to describe a little bit what's the finished house going to look like. But I still want to stay in where it's at right now because I'm very respectful of what was built, right?
Yeah,
but I know
sure.
that you guys are going to give it care. You're going to modernize it. You're going to give it its flavor today. But you're still going to stay true. Like I'm hoping you guys, and I'm not even demanding it. I'm just asking, right? But I'm hoping
we're forced to anyways.
yeah.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
so that's
actually,
so the government starts getting involved, and because there's a lot of that stuff, and I guess with communication as well with the laborers, and I know that there's rules in Greece about you have to let them know who's working or how many hours they're working, and you have to pay them a certain amount, or like there's all these funny rules, right? Is that exactly the case too?
Yeah. So a little bit of like a quick synopsis is like we started making some plans. We got super excited about doing an extension because Greg and I, when we cleared a bit of the property and when the arborist cleared, we're like, wow, this view is insane.
Yeah.
And a little bit, this settlement is actually right above Castle Cafe Bar where I proposed to Greg back in 2016.
Oh,
so
speaking of which,
like,
sorry, I forgot. It's happy anniversary, like last week, wasn't it?
We
Yes and no, technically, or no?
It was,
November 5th.
Yes.
Would have been when we did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Congrats.
About a month,
Congrats.
yeah.
That's all.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
totally forgot. Yes.
I was like, when am I forgetting something? Oh, no.
yeah, we're
No.
causing a fight.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. So, Christos, you were saying?
Yeah, so it's just like that view, and we have so many layers to our property. We're just getting more and more excited about the view. So Greg and I are like, you know what? We don't have that much money. So like, we want to fix up the house and we want to go up a little bit just to get a little master bedroom, just something, you know. So the first plan they came up with us was actually in the front of the tower, doing more of like a kitchen, and then an extra bedroom a bit higher up with a rooftop patio. We're like, great, unobstructed view. And then that got X'd because the existing tower is illegal for the height limits.
It's illegal in a sense that if we were to build it today, we would not be able to.
Yeah,
right. So
it's grandfathered in now.
It's okay. The house is not going to be touched. It's just if you were to, we could not reproduce that house today.
Is it because
the
the neighbor would object to it?
No, just the law, you can't go more than 7.5 meters from the
that's
natural
why.
land.
Okay,
and you're right. The neighbor next to us, we are like next to our neighbor. We could probably a small thinner human could go through the two properties, but
two houses.
There's a 2.5 meter rule now.
Setback.
So we can't construct anything within 2.5 meters from our neighbor.
But you're still going to go up a little bit.
So with that first idea got X because it was too tall, couldn't touch it. So then we said, okay, well, we'll go back. Well, we can't go back where that illegal extension was. We were going to put a bedroom above that, but we couldn't touch that because that extension was within 2.5 meters of the neighbors.
Got it.
So then the solution was, let's go further back, and then it's all free range. We can go up 7.5 meters from that natural land, which was already like 4 layers up. Right. So we'll get even better view. So that's how we ended up having the long stretch and then the tower.
And that's why we're excavating, is because behind the mountain, it was just
mountain.
a mountain. Like the mountain began as soon as the house ended. So in order to build this tower,
and that's where all the core drilling's happening that you guys are doing, right? To just break the rock there.
Absolutely.
But then is it traditional that you guys break the rock and then keep the rock and then use the rock?
It is more so. This is actually unheard of now. So if you were to go to a stone build anywhere else that's not remote like we are on the mountainside, I mean, we're not too remote. It's just because we don't have you can't drive
There's
to our
no
house. You
actual
can't bring a
road.
tractor there. But if you were to look at any other build, it's they're doing a concrete, structure, brick around, and then they're doing this exterior like stone wall, where ours is about 3-4 feet of rock.
Oh,
So-
like the walls are 80 centimeters, and in the new tower there are 60-centimeter walls.
Wow.
So they're of pure stone, right? So no concrete is actually being used to build the structure at all. This is all just the old way, the only way that they would do it back in the day. The only concrete they're using right now is a belt around I think it's every 3 meters. They're going to put a concrete belt around the tower, and that's just to give it extra strength.
As it goes up, they're going to put a band.
As it goes up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And that's from the engineer. That's just signing off from the engineer, just for structural purposes.
Extra. Yep.
What was the reasoning why that one wall was bowed out? Is that just no maintenance on the wall, or over the time, or was there?
So the previous owner actually had created a new entrance. And when creating a new entrance, they threw in some like cinder blocks and stuff like that. So it wasn't really, it wasn't structurally kept as well. And then the roof was collapsing from above as well. So, and then the actual, the mortar and like the binding, what they did was actually so the stone was from the property back in the day or from the neighborhood. And then the binding equipment was, or the actual cement that they used was actually taken from the earth, mixed with sand, mixed with clay and water. So over the years, it just became weaker and weaker, as opposed to now so on the old structure, they're actually like pressure washing, cleaning it out, scraping it out, and then re-cementing or injecting when they need to. And then in the new tower, it's obviously going to be with their cement bonding with the stone itself. And then, the belt every 1.5 meters going around. But you won't see the belt. It's like within the wall.
Right.
It's the core. It's the inside of the wall, and then it's just you're keeping the stone is still, because you want to keep it traditional looking.
Yeah,
of course.
100%.
Yeah. Actually, when I believe we were the ones they chose to sell the property to, because they were working in other directions as well, or at least that's what we were hearing. But we asked for original photos of this house and anything they could give us to show us what the original state of the house looked like, because we have absolutely no intention to ruin the exterior. Internal, like we need a modern home. Like we want this to feel like fresh and clean, but from the outside standpoint, we wanted to bring it back to its natural way. We have mud, like I don't even know what layers existed anymore. It's near impossible to tell, just from the 40 years of growth. And
like we were shoveling out like 8 inches of like mud from just decomposed leaves over the years and stuff, and then we're like, wow, we have a patio, we have tiles.
We're finding tiles. We're like excavating ourselves like little archaeologists.
So how long have you guys been at it for now? So if it took about 2.5 months just to get the paperwork out of the way, and then the first day of demo to now, and then what are you guys giving yourself budget wise, timeline? How long you figure before you guys get your completed home?
It took us, I'd say, about 4 months to land proper designs with the engineer and architects, the team, because we were going back and forth. No, we can't do this. Yes, no, yes, no. We actually had to have 3 meetings up at the property. We had a team of like 15 people up there, because they're like, it's going to be a metal structure with stone on the outside, like how Greg was saying, or it's going to be cement. But we're on a tiny stone path. There's no way to bring a rig with these big metal beams to actually build a metal structure. And there was no way and it was illegal to pump past a certain amount of distance with a cement pump. So the only way was, stone, and we're going to excavate to use this part of the property anyways. We're going to create the stone and use our own stone. So we had a company from Athens come, these stone scientist things. They took cores out. They tested our stone to make sure it was good. And then that was the drawing. Submitted the paperwork for what's the word in English, for the permits, and everything got halted. We hit our first roadblock. They wanted more photos, so our engineers tried sending like the ugly photos of the inside and stuff, and they're like, no, we want more, and they deemed the house archaeological. So
really, who's doing that?
Yeah.
Why are they doing that?
just because of the age, and it's protected from, like, it's a historical place. There was a major battle against the Ottomans, part of the freedom of Greece.
Wow.
Right by it. So it's a local, like, historic spot. And yeah, since it was deemed archaeological, we now, like, we're all hands off. It's what they told us what to do. So we had planned like some like beautiful windows with like nice balconies looking out. They're like, nope. You got to stick to the era. So budget went up almost 100,000 Canadian.
Wow.
Yeah, so it is the difference between being able to use like metal shutters. Now we're forced to use wood. They can't look like wood. They have to be wood.
The interior, can you do what you want to do on the interior still, or you hands are tied?
Yeah, interior is fine. Yeah, we can do anything as long as the exterior is the traditional way.
And it has to be a Byzantine style clay roof with the extra scalloped underneath and the like.
Could you not, like, I mean, we've done this here in Canada. Could you not have a oops moment and maybe some rocks kind of came down and now we have to put a bigger window now? Could you not kind of do that?
It's a very Greek mentality you have here.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's old school Greece. We tried that. Or at least
it didn't work?
I tried. That's old school Greek. Like, that would work.
Okay.
And I tried with our engineer and he's like, nope. They've gotten so strict here because of all the years of all this illegal stuff, that if you do anything wrong, it must be torn down and you'll be fined annually until it is remediated.
Oh, okay, that's serious.
Not worth the risk.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Everything's hardcore by the book.
Yeah. So what did you guys really lose? I guess you lost some larger windows, right? But aesthetically, like on the outside, you were already going down that path. It was going to stay this way.
Yeah, so we were never going to touch the actually that's not entirely true. We were hardly going to touch the tower that is in place now. So that was going to stay as it was. I mean, we did lose the ability to use metal shutters and the choice of windows. Where we've taken a window, so that wall that you saw that was buckling and needed to be replaced, it actually worked in our favor because we wanted to build a way to get out onto the patio. So we were moving the front door anyways. So it worked out, but the size of that door that we had originally designed, since we knew we were going to do this anyways, we had it larger. We wanted like these French doors to go onto our beautiful patio, and now they're just, I mean, they're still going to be. Are they going to be French doors?
It went from 2 meters down to 1.2 meter doors.
So they're just smaller, less light, you know.
Wow.
Almost half the size. So it's less like, because when they knocked out that wall, we were standing in the house and like you see the adjacent mountain and you're just like, this is insane. Like, you're just like, let me stand here and look at a mountain in my face. Like,
it's
wild. Yeah, it's really cool.
I mean, I gotta ask you guys: is there a little bit of resistance because technically you're Canadian, but there's still some family connection there, or not?
I would just say just the sale.
That's okay. That's all it is. Yeah.
The sale. The owner was an old captain, captain of sailing captain, and he had 2 contracts in place before, and he tore them up. And then when they said to us, when we put our offer in, we lowballed. We're just like, hey, we love your.
It was uncomfortable for me. I could not handle it.
Yeah, I was like,
gotta get rid of the Canadian.
We went in. We're like, hey, here's our offer. You know, we've fallen in love with this place. And if you have any photos, great. You know, and they came back and they're like, look, we already said the price is not negotiable. We're not accepting anything below asking. However, since you're a young couple and you're Greek and from here and you love the home and you want to like treat it like your own, we'll gift you X amount of euros. And they lower the price. And Greg was jumping up and down. He's like, yay, great. And I was like, no, we're not done yet. Like, we messaged back. We're like, great, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. However, at this point in time, our financial situation is what we offered. That's what we can afford. And that was true at the time. And I said, we're leaving back for Canada in like 4 days. Just let us know. And they got back to us in 2 days, and we were able to purchase get the ball rolling on the property purchase. And then
so I was shocked. I was literally floored that this worked.
It worked because I think the previous owner just saw something, right? It's no different than any other property, right? He probably had a feeling. He just said, okay, these guys will take care of this house. and that's what he
I
was
think
probably
so.
really looking forward to, right? So it's kind of good.
Yeah.
And so it's a 200-year-old house. So has it always stayed in the same family? Was he the last surviving member of that family, or was it? Do you know of?
Oh, he bought it back in the 1950s, 1960s.
Okay.
So I don't know if you saw on our Instagram, there's Kiria Tasia. She's like our neighbor. She's like this 95-year-old lady.
Oh,
There is
next door.
a photo on our Instagram
Oh,
of
you
this
need to check this
lady.
out.
Okay.
She is.
Is she the window, like a window lady? She's always there talking to everybody through the window.
No, but we do see her often, and I don't speak a lick of. I mean, well, I'm learning Greek, but she only speaks Greek, and she just thinks that if she just continues to speak to me, it will eventually work. She's so sweet. But one day we see her on the side. She's coming up the path, and she has this two strings holding an oven. We're not talking like a small easy bake kind of like oven. We're talking like an oven bigger than her. It's on the Instagram. It's my favorite photo I've ever taken here. It's unbelievable what this lady does.
So she doesn't live in the settlement anymore. Her kids are down the mountain, like towards Kalamata.
Yeah.
And she's scared to stay by herself, but she hikes up and down the mountain every day, morning and night, to water her garden, take care of her plants. And it was when we were first cleaning up the property in those first 3 weeks. I'm like, Greg, grab your camera. And he's like, what? I'm like, there's a lady with an oven on her back. He's like, what? So he missed her. And then like 2 hours later, she was coming back up the mountain. Yes, so Greg has a photo on our Instagram. And she's there with the Mani women are very famous in Greece. Yeah. Like, you don't piss off a woman from Mani. There's a big, deep history. But she told us a lot of the history about the house, who built it and everything. And
how,
yeah.
So we found out from her that all of the settlement was built by donkey. She owned these donkeys and would lend them to those who were trying to build. So, donkeys made this little settlement up there. It's wild.
So how long you guys now have been at it since you guys started? How long's it been now?
We officially received all the permits, archaeology, everything was good. December last year, so it's been 12 months. But then we had to wait because the stone workers, it's not that popular anymore. So we had to wait for the team to finish other projects. Right. So we started.
There's only one team on the island?
Say again?
There's only one team on the island of stone masons?
There's only one that our engineering team
recommend
trusted.
It. Wow.
Okay. There was like 2 or 3, but there are so many jobs because it's not that it's not a common art anymore. So we were waiting for them. We started in beginning of July, with the excavation, and we started about a month and a half ago now. Actually building, we laid the foundation.
We're a little behind on our Instagram game, to be honest.
No, because I was curious about how far along you guys have gotten, and then when are you guys predicting to be completed? Ideally, if everything works out,
end of next year to beginning of 2024.
That long, huh?
Yeah.
You're just based on your earlier time and trying to figure things out and get all the paperwork and get everything all ready. You figured that it will take that long. Is it because it's going to be difficult to get the people to do the work?
They've been pretty good. I think it's just that big of a project, and so everything has to be carried up this path. There's no other way to bring every bag of cement, every tool.
Donkeys? Can you guys raise some donkeys?
I know.
Yeah. I actually don't have the heart to use a donkey. I could never. How dare we? But I mean, maybe if we get desperate, the donkey will have to step in.
So how's that experience of speaking with the old tradespeople there and their skill? I'm assuming everybody there is just Greek, or are there a few that speak English as well? Trades wise, the workers.
So generally speaking, in Greece, English is very easy to find. You're always in earshot of someone who can at least somewhat speak the language. Tradespeople, on the other hand, are the hardest to have a conversation.
Why is Christos laughing? I don't know why.
Because so funny. Before,
do you know what I'm thinking about?
Well, I'm just gonna say. So Christos is a pilot. He leave me.
So then you got to figure it out. Okay.
So I'm here for 2 weeks by myself. of the month, and that doesn't stop construction. So I'm still out there doing my best. I've learned a lot of Greek because of tradespeople, and I've learned that Google Translate is literally your best friend, but it doesn't work all the time. It's not the greatest. Yeah.
But you've gotten this far, and you're.
I'm thinking, the story with the plumber and the center.
Oh yeah, something simple like this. So here in this house, we've done a renovation here in this condo that we're in right now, and I was working with a plumber while Christos was away, and he didn't speak any English whatsoever. It just not even. He wasn't even like able to repeat after me. He wouldn't do it. He was not happy to do so. I used Google Translate to ask him to put the sink, because the sink was smaller than the unit it was sitting on, the vanity, and I needed it to be in the center. He was giving me a choice. It could be offset, it could be to the right, like left or right, and I was like, no, I need it in the center. I Google Translated and he just started laughing. But I said it to him, so I translated and I read it to him so that I could practice my Greek. The translation, I asked him to put it in the center of the city, like not the center of the unit, the city center. So it's not a perfect science, but he understood, and that's the point. Is that although it's always a good laugh, the words are like, oh yeah, I understand why you said that. That's weird, but I'll put it in the middle.
So what's been the biggest challenge so far, right up until this point, until you guys are officially starting construction now with the foundation? What would have been the biggest hurdle?
The
other than the language for my end of thing, I think if we're just to speak about the construction, it is the excavation of that mountain. We were told at the beginning it was going to be a short time, 3 weeks maybe. I think we were working on that mountain for almost 3 months.
Wow.
It took a very long time. So, when you're looking at the surface of the mountain and they started using the machines, it was great. Rocks were flying. They were creating, like amazing boulders that we could use for the house. As that stone got deeper, it became harder and harder. And what they were creating was gravel, and you can't use that in the house. It was rubble.
Yeah.
So they hit a point where they're like, yeah, we can't do this anymore.
Our engineers basically just called it, like we had planned, if you remember from the renderings, on the other side there was like a patio on the new tower. On the other side they're like, yep, no patio, it's done.
Yeah.
And we're like, whoa, yeah. Wait, like let's get an informed decision here. Let's talk to the stone workers, like what's the projected timeline to extend, but our engineers, they know we're like, very budget tight. So like, well, it'll cost too much. We're like, well, now we're here, let's figure this out.
Yeah. So that would be the second biggest challenge, right? Is the working with tradespeople who are trying to make decisions in your best interest. That's what they're thinking, but instead we're the type of people who give us all of the options and let us decide.
Yes.
So for them to say, yeah, you're not getting a patio anymore, sorry, we're like, no, hold the phone. Like, we want to, like, if this is going to be an extra 10 grand, that's our decision. If it's worth it, we'll do it. In the end, we actually said, yes, we want to do it because we gained real estate from it. It gave us an entire office in the tower by doing so. So we continued to excavate, and it held us back, 3 weeks almost a month. So
who came up with the idea of the core drilling with that expanding concrete? Was that the engineer?
The stoneworking.
The stone guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty clever. I don't even know if they do that here, if they actually need to do that, if we're just going to machinery it here. But I was looking at that and I was going, that's kind of clever because it actually works really well.
It was wild, actually. Felt like a science experiment, but I didn't get to watch them actually like do the drilling. And so I was working while this happened. So I was kind of sad about that, but just going up there, they were done an hour and a half before I finished work. I went up right after, and it was already starting to set and already starting to crack the rock. It was wild. Yeah, I've never seen anything like it.
I wanted to get an idea. What's the square footage? Well, here I am in Canada, and we should actually be talking square meters. What's the square meters of the original house, and what's the square meter of the new house? How ambitious are you guys going?
Yeah. The original house was 176 square meters plus the that wine cellar, which was about another 10. So 186 in total. And then with the extension, we're going to be just around 275 with that extra office. So just shy of 3,000 square feet.
Right.
That's a good size house.
Yeah, well, especially in Greece.
In Greece, yeah. Inside of a mountain, right next to it, or in a mountain. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
so that's very ambitious. That's very, very ambitious.
Yeah. We're it's actually funny because so we're living now in Kalamata, the closest city to where the settlement to our house is, and we're out for dinner once, and this one guy at a restaurant jumped up and he's like, 2 guys in Greece, and we're like, what?
Yeah.
And he's like, I follow you, and he's like, hi, shake. So
what are the odds?
Little local celebrities almost. Yeah.
So funny.
So, okay, do you guys want to walk us through what the new house is going to look like? And I mean, I'm already loving the wine cellar, so what else are you guys planning on throwing in there?
I'm gonna go first. Do you want me to?
Yeah, so how do we describe this? So where do we start? Yeah, so when you first walk into our basement, so there's a door at the side of this house. When you first walk in, it was just an open basement. We're turning this into like an entertainment area. Now, Greek summer's hot as hell.
No, it's not.
It's not. You go underground is where people go to hang out. Now that I've climatized a little bit, it's hot. So downstairs we'll have a little bit of an entertainment area, just to relax. We're planning to turn what was a kitchen in the basement into just a small bedroom, and that's where the wine cellar is attached to. So they're going to repair that wine cellar. It leaks right now. We're going to repair that wine cellar and make use of it, actually. So may even try. We found grapes on our property, so we may actually try creating our own wine one year.
How many vines? How many vines do you guys have?
Well, we were sad because there was this big vine where we're actually constructing the tower. So it got destroyed. Maybe it'll come back. We'll find it. I don't know. It might still be there. But while we were standing there one day, we're like, holy, there's vines coming down over these trees.
Grapes.
There's grapes somewhere up in the mountain coming down. So and we actually ate some this year. They were quite good.
Not bad.
So yeah, we'll take a stab at creating our own wine if they survive. If not, we'll just plant some more and do it ourselves. But
what I'm excited is we got 22 olive trees, and last winter we went to our friend's property and we helped harvest the olives and then take it to the press and everything. And that's what I'm really excited about.
To go back to the house, when you first walk in, there's actually no way to the second floor. So you leave the house to come up the stairs outside to get to the top floor of that house. So we're building a staircase as soon as you walk into the home to get you to the second level, so we don't have to go outside anymore. So that'll get us to connect the house all together. As far as the living room, we're trying to keep it all open, as much of an open concept as possible. What's getting added into the main area of the house is we're adding a washroom just before the kitchen, so that'll be interesting.
With loft too.
We have a couple things happening in the tower right now. We have a planned bathroom in the new tower that we're building, and they're a little bit worried about making sure those pipes flow downhill, which seems very important to me.
Gravity, doesn't it work that way?
Yeah, well, I think we're on like some super flat land right now, and I don't know if that was an oversight or if that maybe
you guys can always get an injector. I mean, that will work automatically.
Yeah. Injectors, they were talking about adding like an extra pump or something for like the shower.
So basically, like back here at home, if you were to underpin a property and your waistline is lower, the new waistline is lower than the city, you would put in a pump, an injector, and it actually shoots all of your waste upwards and then out. So I'm assuming that it's available there.
They were talking about that for the one potential shower in the new tower.
Same thing.
Because that was the only thing that wouldn't have the actual proper klisi, that proper angle that they require.
Slope. Yeah.
Slope, yeah. Sorry, all this construction stuff's all in Greek, so it's all.
I know, to translate it. I trust me, I would be lost too. I mean, we would try to figure out if I saw the parts on the job site, I would be able to. I'd just point to it. I would just that right there, that goes right there. That's good.
You think you'll know a second language until you're renovating. Like this apartment that we're living in now, we renovated last summer, and like things I had to learn was like baseboard. I would never think to know the word baseboard in Greek, like just like random. Or like the little things that you put in between tiles, the spacers, like the special word for those. Like,
right.
Yeah.
What is the Greek word for baseboard?
Sofatopie.
Sofatopie?
Sofatopie.
Oh, sofatopie. Okay, all right. That's a pretty long word for baseboard, but now that we know it, that's cool.
Yeah.
This happens quite often, actually.
Is there shoe mold on the baseboard? No shoe mold.
No.
So I wanted to get an idea. So when you guys were coming up with the design, was it originally from you guys, and then you were just offloading all the design ideas to the engineer and the architect, and then they would kind of translate it for you and then come back and go, okay, based on your bucket here, this is what it's going to really look like?
I think what you described as the latter is what they wanted us to be like, is like they wanted us to just tell the story. They go back and us go, yay, that was great. Christos is not capable of that. He's very involved. And I would say, although their hands made the 3D conceptuals and built this AutoCAD drawing that we can all now enjoy, it was Christos going like, move that wall, move this window. Like it was good though. I think we had a lot of great debates.
Yeah.
A lot of them, like sitting in the engineer's office, and just, we would dream big. They would try to scale us back, of course, right? Like, Pinterest, I guess, has ruined lives for many, many people in those positions.
Yep.
So, we're showing pictures of like 16-foot piece of glass, and like we want half of our stone exposed, but glass to be the corner of our tower, so we could, it looked broken almost. And that's something we stole from Pinterest. And then they're like, absolutely not. And we didn't get to say this, but our house has to be they have to be able to prove it's A+ energy efficient.
Well, that's right. I was going to ask you guys about that, because you're conscious of that, right?
Yeah. And the energy prices here are insane compared to Canada. So that's one thing we were really sad about. We were really pushing, really fighting to have all the exposed stone on the inside of the house. Yeah. Like we love that. And we're not allowed. There's no way. We tried to putting an air, then a glass wall, something. Nope. The only thing we got is if there's any internal walls that have both internal rooms, we're allowed to have the exposed stone there. That's the only thing we got.
So what's the reason why you're not allowed to keep it exposed?
The European Union energy ratings on the house have to have a certain amount of heat
loss calculations.
Yeah.
So I mean, okay, but can we go back in time when they kind of stuck a fork in the road regarding the historical angle of things? Could you not use that as leverage and say we're kind of trying to? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if you can't ask us to be historical and then tell us to be updated mechanically. Like we got to have a compromise here. Give us one wall. Exposed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just trying to say.
We won a slight compromise in the basement, didn't we?
In the basement, we got a bit of like a fake crack of like the white
It'll go plaster. It'll be plaster, and then it'll crack away, trying to make it look like it fell.
And that was like a good hour where we like our engineering team. They're like good cop, bad cop, which is kind of great because you see them sort of like debate each other and like challenge each other.
Yeah.
Which is great. And then the architect lady that was doing the plans, she had like the nice finishing touches on things. Like I'm like, yeah, this is and then she's like, well, wait, like if you're gonna walk in, this is she had just the extra.
She's very smart.
Very awesome. But a lot of good cop, bad cop, and then us trying to talk to one of them separately or whatever to get them to talk and to make things work.
Yeah.
So
strategic.
What are they? I guess how are they? Let's talk a little bit of boring. Mechanically speaking, What are they asking you to do now? I mean, because you still have to, I guess, technically heat the home, and you also have to AC the home, or you're not allowed to AC the home. So how is that coming along?
We're still in the process. So either it's going to be splits in the rooms, or we're going to. There's the one downside to it is because we're going to keep the vaulted open ceiling in the existing home.
Makes it difficult for
we
splits.
could do 60 heat pump.
Yes.
For the whole 2 towers. However, it would be exposed, like the metal.
All the piping on, yeah, I know, which looks
so,
like.
Still haven't decided quite on that what we're going to do.
Yeah,
you could encase it in stone, but that's just more stone work.
Yeah, and weight.
Yeah.
We're lucky that we're gonna have a fireplace in the main tower, and then in our bedroom upstairs, the Grand Master bedroom.
So they're letting you build a wood burning fireplace?
Yeah, that's totally good here. We also have a wood oven outside on the property too, to make like bread and things like that. Pizza oven, yeah.
See, I'd be challenging it, but then again, you're challenging a system that's can stomp on you when you're there, right? I'd be challenging it because fireplaces are the worst thing you can do when you want to try to be energy efficient. Like it's very pretty. It smells amazing. I personally would love it, but it does hurt your overall heat loss. It hurts your energy efficiency. It hurts all of that. But if they're allowing that, why can't you allow the stone? I would keep on making an argument for the stone, but you guys know the government there better than I do. You don't want to piss them off that much to the point where, well, we'll just put a stop on this.
Yeah.
Right?
Or take Greg's PR card away.
Yeah, that's right. Worse. Just kidding.
Which is even worse, exactly, right? So then it's like one guy in Greece, one guy in a boat, back to Canada kind of thing.
That's right.
You don't want that. But so where is I'm just trying to get an idea of where you guys, I guess, all the finished material, all your, I guess, your hardwood flooring, your tiling, your cabinetry, where is that all coming from? Is that all, you guys are keeping it all in-house on the island? Is it all coming from Greece, or are you guys looking abroad for that?
We're lucky that Kalamata is, because there's a brand new highway that connects Athens to Mani. So we're very close, like we're within 20-minute drive into Kalamata, and because that's a decent city, that there's a lot of the chains that has all the Greek stuff. So we can get the fancy Italian like taps and stuff for the bathroom and the finishings, and the Spanish tiles, and the porcelain, and the Greek solar hot water tanks, and then there's the Greek like hardware, the kitchen companies for the millwork and the closets. And we had, like, with this apartment, we had like a little like dry run almost. So we have a lot of contacts already and everything.
Yeah.
So is it also true that even if you guys do most of the work yourself, you still have to log hours? Is that a fact with Greece construction?
I haven't heard of that.
We're not physically doing any of, all we have to do on our end, because it's controlled through our engineers. They're doing some extra stuff that we're not fully aware of, but
we have to
technically Christos and I are listed as their employers. So therefore we had to buy insurance for them. Every day that they work, it has to be declared.
So we're paying,
if something happens.
We're paying like their CPP and their Greek equivalent of like CPP and EI contributions. So we're like declaring the amount of people that come, their hours.
Yeah.
And then we have to, at the end of the month, pay a bill to the government for their hours and for what they do.
Right.
And then their like their workers' comp as well.
So there is that kind of, there's a little bit of a gray area, I guess, when it comes to physically whoever's doing the work and how it's all, you got to abide by the rules, right? Like there's all these little, do they make you aware of these rules, or you guys just discover them as you break them?
Bit of both.
That's how I would do it. I would discover them as I break them. That's it. I didn't know, right? Play that card. It would work for a while.
Except the slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
As long as no one
we knew in the whole budget and stuff, but like our engineers were like all of a sudden like, oh, we need your tax number and your like logins, and we're like, well, oh yeah, I'm coming back from Canada in a week, and they're like, no, like we got to pay the first bill in 3 days. I'm like, well, what bill? Like, so it was included in their big budget they gave us, but they didn't like explain like we're gonna have to do this every month. So that was a little bit of a learning process for us to like go in and navigate online banking for these government associations and stuff, and with these like verification codes and everything. Right. And so Yeah.
I don't want to get too much into your business on the financial side, but is this project for you guys, is it more or less expensive to do it in there than it would be in Canada?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I would say,
Now let's factor in the view and the
yeah.
environment and the mental health and the longevity and the happiness. Like factor all that shit in there. All right.
Yeah. Let's just
Absolutely.
say all in like purchase, renos, everything. The cost, not the value after, but the cost of everything will be less than a apartment downtown Vancouver.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. But yeah, the view alone, the property, the house when it's done, like we're gonna put a pool in, it's gonna sleep 12. It's gonna be like a Greek villa, with our olives and our grapes and our lemon trees and everything.
Wait a minute. They're putting, you guys are putting a pool in too?
Yeah.
That's the plan.
They allowed that? I don't understand how they allowed that.
Loophole. Yeah.
We did the Greek thing.
Yeah. It's a compact pool, like a prefabricated pool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if it's a prefabricated pool, it does not have to be included onto the permits. It only has to be included onto the final occupancy permit. So then we're good with that. So we don't get this beautiful infinity pool that we wanted. It's going to be a prefabricated one, but then we're going to encase it in like stone after to make it look more part of the property with a nice deck and stuff too.
You could be creative, and with certain stonework and the way the pool is positioned, even though it's a prefab, it could look like an infinity if you're kind of creative a little bit. Just take a little bit of effort. That's all. Yeah,
I got to look a bit more into it, and we've been on our Instagram game trying to find some like cool pools on properties and stuff to make a plan.
I love that you guys are using, I know that a lot of the trades that I did see on the feed, they were mostly of the older generation because that's who's doing the work. But I love that you got guys pulling out plumb bobs and they're using old school tools. And and I love that they're they're restoring an old house with that same old technology that's been tried and tested how many decades, centuries, and it just works, right? I mean, are you guys in awe when you see them show up on site and they're pulling out these things that you're like, what is that? And I don't understand how that works.
Why isn't there a laser?
Yeah, no lasers, no lasers.
Even like just picking up a stone, like we're seeing a big pile of rocks. I'm like, okay, cool. And one of the workers like picks up a stone and Greg takes a hammer to it and goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and he puts it and it perfectly fits the spot that he was going to place it on this new wall. And I'm just like,
even the things that they are thinking about that we probably wouldn't be, like the original house, that original tower where they've rebuilt that side of the wall we've had to break down. The stone that they're putting around that area is all old stone from an old house somewhere in Mani. He went and he found it without even asking us. He just did it because he knew that's what he had to do. Whereas all the cornerstones for the new house, they're actually carving them out of marble, trying to make them look like not a freshly cut stone from a perfectly like aligned saw. So it's fascinating, like the things they do and the things they think about to keep the look. I wouldn't have considered it. I wouldn't have thought about it. It would just. It's truly across my mind. Yeah.
I mean, it's nice that I see some of the younger generation there paying attention, but it's I love the consistency because all of them were not wearing any kind of safety goggles or any kind of safety protection. No. Listen. I've always been there. Trust me. Even as a kid, and even me as a son. No, I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying these are old school.
You all should wear your safety goggles.
I know, but they were chipping away. I was fascinated by the stone. I was like, look at this guy carve out this stone and then put it in its spot as if that's the spot this stone belonged to, right? Yeah. Mind you, you're going to be wearing an eye patch next week. I get it, but that stone looks beautiful right where it's at, right? And they were all doing that, so that's where the consistency is. But you're kind of, if I was there, I'd be cringing. I'd be like, oh, God, put some goggles on, please. No, I know.
And this is those working with the stone inside, but also during the excavation process. He's out there with an excavator at a mountain, and there is stone of all sorts of shapes and sharpness flying everywhere.
He has his little beach umbrella on top.
I
of
saw
the,
that. He's smart.
Like,
he's a
his
smart
little
man.
iced coffee.
Yeah,
he's
smart
like,
man,
click.
and he's getting the job done. He's totally getting the job done, and he's enjoying life. He's enjoying life. That's what I love about it. I wanted to ask you guys, what was some of the funniest things that you guys found on the property when you guys started opening up certain wall? I know that there was a whack of scorpions. I'm not a fan of scorpions to begin with myself.
Me neither.
You know, even though they're tiny as hell, but they move quick and they've got 2 big claws. But I mean, were there interesting things that you guys found? Were there like little, I don't know, containers or something? I don't know.
We did find, and I hope he's never going to hear this show, but the previous owner, we did find his man cave stash of magazines. That was left.
What year?
So we got the centerfolds out.
Really? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
The 1970s Greek Playboy.
It was quite tasteful, to be honest.
Did
but
you
it
guys
was
ask
still,
the arborist to come back to trim that?
Yeah, you're onto it. Absolutely.
I can only imagine, man. Like, I can only imagine. I'm sorry. I mean, they were dating. That's funny that you guys found that stash.
Yeah.
We found some, like, it was uncomfortable, not funny or weird, but like bullets. That was a little awkward.
World War II bullets.
Yeah.
Wow.
That they found. We also found a cool little little like piggy bank that was buried.
Oh yeah.
It was really cool. A little metal piggy.
We don't know what if you shake it. There's something in it, but we don't know how to open the damn thing. So
no, don't break it. Don't break it.
We also had books. We had like, so it's really big contrast. We had the Playboys. We had like the smutty like stuff, but we also had like Bibles and church books from 1899 and 1920.
Well, you got to commit to sin, and then you got to ask for forgiveness, right? So it's like it's a balance, right?
He had it right.
one of the coolest things I'd say. The previous owner called us about a month in, when we were cleaning up the property, about 3 weeks in, and he's like, you know what? I really like you guys. I know we haven't physically met, but you know, I like you guys and I really like how so excited. She's like, I'm going to tell you a secret about the history of this home. And we're like, what? And he's like, okay. So, and he was trying to explain to me, he's like, walk over here, walk over here. He's like, I found a present from the elders, from the old Greeks. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And so I'm walking around on my phone. And so I hang up the phone and tell Greg, I'm like, we need to go back to the hardware store and get like a chisel and a hammer or something. So he told us that when he was fixing the property, he found a cave. And during the Turkish occupation and then the World War II with the Germans and stuff, a lot of Greeks took their gold coins and would hide them in different places, in the walls and caves and things. So he actually had found a stash, but he obviously took it. But he goes, you know, just so since you guys are so interested, he told me sort of where it is. He's like, if you see, I just cemented over the little access point to this cave. I left a gift in there for someone to open it one day. So I'm like, Greg, right now, don't tell anyone. We got to go, like, get a chisel, get a hammer. We drove to the hardware store, came back. We're sitting there, like, on our knees, like, trying to, like, tick away at this. We created a hole maybe, like, 6 inches by a foot.
To put my hand in with my iPhone. That was, it.
We were so excited. Greg at first was like, this guy's razzing you. I was like, no, he's not. He's not going to just say that, like, just send us on a goose hunt. So we end up going down there. There's a cool little video. We haven't posted it yet, but like we're trying to take our little like solar panel like light to shove it down there on a string. Greg puts his phone in, and we find this cave. It's probably like a cubic meter. Like
it was huge.
Big.
It was enormous actually.
And he left the gift he left in there was a teacup and a saucer at the bottom of this cave. So, but it was cool because
That's
knowing
nice.
that he found. He didn't say exactly whatever, but he said, you know, there was a gift I found from the elder Greeks. And so obviously, you know, you hear stories of people finding gold coins and all this. And that was the gift he left.
Are you guys still digging?
We hit a couple caves on the excavation.
Actually, that's interesting. So we found these caves while they were excavating, and now we've changed our design in the tower to, even though it's underground, we have built a window. We're building a window so that cave can always be seen. So we're not, because otherwise our house would be up against this cave. You wouldn't see it. So now we've put a window there so that we can light it.
You can see the stalagmites and stalactites. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Now, does that make you guys feel obligated to leave something there when you guys are building and cover it up and then let the next owners? I don't know. Have you guys thought about that?
We
or maybe leave the same teacup and saucer? I don't know.
I know.
You know, I've thought of all these weird things to do to the house. I was even like, I'm morbid. I'm maybe more morbid. You're nice with a teacup and saucer. I actually was like, we need to go and buy like all the Barbies from this this little store over here and put the heads into the, so when they tear down all the plaster walls, all these heads are stuck in the stone.
Might as well melt them while you're at it too, so they could be partially melted and then put them in there. Yes.
What we did put into the walls is right when we started. They laid the foundation. Tradition here in Greece is actually it's an old Greek pagan tradition before Christianity. Is you would actually slaughter a rooster and spill the blood on the property. That was for good luck for building. Okay. So our engineers are telling us, a little Canadian Greg here is like, oh hell no, I'll bring chicken souvlaki to the job site. Everyone can get some chicken souvlaki.
We can pour the juice from the box onto the. We're not killing a rooster. Not happening.
So we fast forward and went with the new 2,000-year-old, the Christian way, and we had the priest come up and do a holy water to bless the home.
That's nice too. Yeah.
So we did that little service, and then he takes basil and dips in the holy water, and then uses it to sprinkle the holy water everywhere. And so what Craig and I did, since they were just starting to build the walls, we ripped up the basil and shoved it into the walls. We're like, oh, well, I guess it's a blessing, good luck, and all this. And
or it'll grow. We'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not a problem.
I wanted to ask you a bunch of other stuff too as well. I still got, what haven't you guys told us about?
Ooh.
I'm just going to try. I mean, first of all, the food there has got to be amazing.
The food is incredible. The food is what
I can almost smell it here. It's got to be amazing. Yeah. No, it's all, and I know that I saw some of the festivals that you guys were walking around, and that's what I miss about my own small town in the Azores as well. It's just, you see the same faces, you have similar conversations, you just kind of carry that conversation over and over, and you add a little bit to that story and you keep on going. And then you enjoy food, you enjoy wine, you enjoy everything. And that's why the value of the house there versus the value back here, right? Very envious, right?
Well, and we live in Kalamata, the major city here is Kalamata. So any olive you've ever picked up is likely to be a Kalamata olive.
Yeah.
So we're very well known for the olives and for the oil. And I mean, I've used olive oil in Canada, but you very quickly here learn that Canada actually probably receives the bottom of the barrel oil from Greece, from Italy, from wherever.
It either goes to Mr. Lube or it comes to your dinner table.
Christos has caught me
over the sink, pouring oil onto a piece of bread.
Bread is now just a vessel for oil. I just really, if it was acceptable in the social society we live in to just eat the oil, I would. I cannot believe how much I've discovered olive oil to be a taste of that. I adore it. I want it all the time. It's weird.
So when are we going to see two guys in Greece olive oil bottle show up on the shores of Canada?
Yeah, let's get our trees healthy again.
I'm just saying. It's not a bad idea, right? To get it there. You've got the supply. It's right there, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
true.
And
we've harvested one year, one season, so we've learned the trade.
Yeah, we did. It's absolutely true.
Are you guys itching to do some of the work yourself, or you guys are just hands off and just let them do it, let them take care of it?
We are actually pretty hands-on. I mean, we're not touching the stone. I mean, structurally, I need that house to withstand all of the things, including earthquakes. So we opt out of touching anything that's structural and electrical and probably plumbing. After that, I'm happy to get my hands dirty because it's most likely not going to make something break or injure somebody. So yeah, those are the areas we'll probably stick out of. But when it comes to other things, we're not painting, not sanding things down. That's fine. And in fact, we've never really had the opportunity to do it, right? So it's exciting. It's exciting to go to a hardware store and actually need something. I'm not there to just walk around I need something. We bought a chainsaw. I bought a chainsaw. I was like, Dad, we have a chainsaw. Just wild.
Do you know how to use a chainsaw?
Never used one in my life. Still haven't, and it is out of the box. It's just
It's
you
now
know,
hanging out in the trunk of our car
It's in
because
it.
we started construction. There's nowhere to store
We don't
it,
have to
so
stop.
they're driving around with a chainsaw in their trunk.
Yeah, we look great. It's wonderful.
Two guys
We're
in
doing good.
Greece and a chainsaw. Yeah.
And a
All right.
chainsaw. It's wild.
What else? I have a bunch of questions. I'm assuming, are you guys the first in your circle of friends that have done this, or have other people in your circle of friends that have done this or considering this?
Our really good friend Chrissa here did something similar where she's restored an entire historical home in the center of Kalamata. So, and she's originally from Vancouver as well, came here, married a Greek man, and now has a beautiful 4-year-old daughter, and she's like everything to us. So she's done it. She's been through the exact same thing. So actually, a lot of the tradespeople we've met, a lot of her learning she's passed it on to us. So she's really been helpful in this process.
And she got held up with our house was deemed archaeological.
Yeah.
Hers was deemed historical, which was even worse because there was more committees to go through.
Yeah.
So hers was 3 years for permits and ours was only 6 months. We also have to thank COVID, the one positive thing, which forced Greece from the paperwork to the digital age where permits became digitalized during COVID. So I think that also expedited our process.
I was actually looking online, and the Greek process of permitting and everything is very similar to the Canadian way. There's a lot of very similar stages. Everything's pretty much on the same kind of level and on stages, and how you do things, how you prepare things, how you build things. It's just you're in a different part of the world. That's all it is. I was going to ask you guys, can you be a tourist and do what you guys are going through, or do you need to become a permanent resident?
You can, anyone can purchase property in Greece. There are some parts of Greece where you cannot purchase that, like bordering like the Turkish border, where it's a bit protected area where foreigners can't purchase. But yeah, anyone can purchase as long as you get a tax number and you're declaring the money coming in. There's the Golden Visa program. We've actually at the bank bumped into some other Canadians from Calgary down in Mani. They bought a plot of land, built a house during the Golden Visa program. They have no connection to Greece, nothing. They're straight up Canadian as well. And they're just loving life. Our next door neighbors are from Ireland. Our little settlement is a lot of foreigners, actually, a lot of expats. 315 days of sun a year, fresh food, vegetables. I was swimming at the beach a couple of days ago, in December.
Sorry, Manny.
No, I'm just saying, why not? Might as well.
Yeah.
Right. Are you guys, I'm curious, are you guys, you're just getting started. I would say the hard part. You got the next 12 months. I'd love to have you guys back on the show when you guys have it finished and show us and give us a tour. That would be amazing to see it. But are you guys still of the mind, like, let's do this again? Like, are you at that point? Or by the time you get to the end, we're never going to do this again?
It's an itch. It's an itch. You're like, we renovated this condo knowing what we would go through in the house. I mean, we haven't finished the house, and nor have we even started thinking about fixtures, flooring, colors, all that. I mean, we have these 3D mock-ups, which we're going to try to stay true to, but I'm
already looking at properties.
Yeah, Christos can't stay off the real estate websites.
Okay, I'm good that we recorded that, Christos, because I want to see in about a year's time if that's going to still be the same thought process, right?
All depends on how much money we spend on this place.
But that'll all go out the window the moment you finish and you're sitting there, and it won't matter what that amount is at all, right? It's going to be more about what you guys feel emotionally to that house and what you guys have done for that island and that property and everybody else that's had that property, right? So I could still see you guys looking at another property and starting all over again.
Yeah, it's actually even the surrounding area around the house that we're in, it's beautiful, right? And like there's places for sale in this whole area, so
also in the side of the mountain where we are, it is the first village of Mani, so it's sort of like borderline Mani, borderline Kalamata, and it's called Verga is the area. And the area of Verga, they've actually stopped giving building permits. So if there's any plots of land that already have a building permit, those are going up in value. Yeah. Because you can't just buy a plot of land and then submit for building. You have to have some existing building permit. right now. So it's
What was the
going to
reason why
become-
they stopped them? Just too much.
There's a lot of villas going up. It used to be all just like all nature and stuff and forest land and agricultural land. And it's now like there's some gorgeous villas and homes being built and hotels. Like it's only a 3-kilometer drive up the mountain.
Yeah.
But now we pass by 2 5-star hotels. We have that beautiful Castle Bar nightclub where I proposed to Greg. We have like a couple bars up there, restaurants in the little settlement where we are. If you take the stone path up, there's actually a little taverna there where they have the wine from the mountain, the olive off the mountain, like the full traditional village taverna. It's sort of booming.
Yeah. Coming to life.
In its weird village way, like.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I love the village life. I totally love the village life, right? It just me personally, I've gotten so sick and tired of Toronto in the last few years. It's just I think Toronto's just chipped away at me too much, and I'm tired of being chipped away. That I'd rather go to the village life, right?
It's so different, isn't it? Like what matters to you changes. Like the material world slips away all of a sudden. It's not so much about buying things and owning things. It's more about community and being outside and connecting with people and fresh food, and you start to care about things you don't find yourself caring about in this other life that we knew very well from Vancouver.
You're not scheduling coffee dates with friends 2 weeks from now.
This is not the way it works. The people here in Greece, and you can probably say the same for your people in the Azores, is like they will have €5 to their name left after they've worked, all the month, and they still want to buy you a coffee. They will not let you pay. And that's their last €5. And they're like, they need to go home knowing they've done something for you. And
they'll even give you the espresso cup and the saucer so you could take it as a gift.
If you want.
I know. I love that.
And then like Vancouver, Toronto, it's unlikely people even know their neighbors. You're in an elevator and you put your head down and you don't say hi to the person next to us. It's something I've learned that there's this thing we've forgotten about in Canada and in North America even, it's sad to see.
Our next door neighbor here at the apartment we're living in now, like we weren't even moving in yet. We're still renovating it. And she lives in Athens and this is like a summer home for her. She's like, oh, come here, Christo. And I was like, what? She's like, here are the keys for my apartment. Check on it. I was like, no. Like, I know. She's like, no, you guys are good boys. I know. Like, here's the keys to my apartment. Once in a while, just check on things when I'm not around. I'm like, no, I don't feel comfortable. Like, we don't. And she's like, no, it's okay. And I'm just like, okay.
We're like, we have your keys now. That's weird, but
cool. But it's not. It's not weird.
It's
not
not
over there.
Yeah, it isn't. Yeah.
I wanna ask one last question before I get into the 12 questions of construction, which will be pretty entertaining, I think. I want to ask you guys. Can you guys describe the kitchen that you guys are going to build as detailed as oriented? Because I want to get a sense if you guys are, and I'll just say it, making the mistake of bringing a Canadian kitchen over there. And I hope you're certainly not doing that.
This is interesting. Yeah. Well, can you describe as much detail as possible?
Just please tell me that you're not doing any shaker cabinetry or doors or white kitchen or like anything like that.
I'm looking at a picture right now. It is literally white.
But it's not shaker, is it? It can't be shaker.
What is shaker?
Shaker is a framed and a square edge on inside.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Okay, so you guys did bring Canada over to Greece there. All right, okay.
Full disclosure, we didn't get a choice of the cabinets.
Why? Why didn't you guys get a choice? Why wasn't that allowed?
This was just to bring the kitchen to life so we could see it. It was a first.
I just love that Christos in the beginning was talking about tile from Spain and then wood from so and so and all these different places, and now cabinetry from Canada.
This is amazing. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In the kitchen, what I was pushing for was to have that stone wall.
Oh,
stone wall, island, and that we have it. And then my other thing I was pushing for was our hot water tanks. Because here in Greece, we get 315 days of sun a year in Kalamata. So we want our solar hot water tanks so we don't have to pay for hot water.
Smart.
And our architect, she did the mock-up. We're looking on the second screen right now. She did the mock-up for it. But in all reality, we're going to be bringing the company Stoza. They're in Kalamata. They're an amazing team. We worked with them on this apartment, and we're going to get their feedback and their expertise. We already saw some of their cool things. Like, I don't know, I was amazed by they have this super cool French where you cook the pots and pans. I can't think of
It's
the
an
word in
induction.
Oh, you're doing an induction cooktop. Okay.
But the center of it is the exhaust fan. And it's like,
so it's a downdraft. It's a downdraft.
Yes.
It's a
And
downdraft.
It defies gravity and it blows my mind.
And then you purposely want to create smoke so you can see that smoke go down instead of go up.
100%. Like, I just want to boil water for the sake of
Just be
boiling
careful. Just be careful about the routing of that exhaust fan because it's a lot trickier than doing a traditional way. That's all. Just be careful when you're doing the cabinetry and everything like that because it takes up a lot of space on the back end of the stove, right? So just factor that in. Remember that, right? Because I've done it a few times and it's like parking a coffin behind the stove. You know what I mean? It's such a big component and it's just annoying and you got to try to hide it, right? So, but it's a very cool. I like it because I hate staring at something right at eye level when you're cooking or like you got the hood there. So that's why I like the downdraft, but you got to do it properly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
fair enough. Fair enough.
What's the countertop going to be?
I would show you the picture of the kitchen.
No, don't
but,
show. I want to see when you guys get closer to finishing it.
Yeah,
but I just wanted to get an idea. And I wasn't
trying
trying to insult you guys about the shaker shit. It's just like, I hate that. If you've heard the show before, everyone knows I hate that. I can't stand that. It's just everybody does it.
Shaker, and you're like the square. We're looking over.
like, oh my God, he's describing the kitchen. Shit.
I just met you guys, and I'm insulting your house that you're building in Greece, man. I apologize. I totally apologize. What color countertop are you guys doing?
Well, I'm gonna let you guess. Actually, since you've done so well.
Is it white marble?
No.
What is it?
Not.
What is it?
What is that?
It's like a gray, like slate granite, and it's actually a 2-tiered. With the second tier is a white, like Korean white.
Yes.
See, that's nice.
Yeah. So there's the island of the middle of the kitchen is 2-tiered. So it's almost like it creates a bar on it,
yes.
But there's a lower half where your sink and your stove would go. Like I'm not sure if the sink's going there actually, but we can't actually see it in this photo. But I think it's either it is there. Yeah, so she's got this like nice designed island, which we didn't even ask for. We never gave her any inspiration for it. This just threw itself into the mix, and we were like, yes, this looks Canadian. We're in.
We were like big windows, stone wall. That was our requirements
thing
on the kitchen.
We did say that like we love to cook, we love to entertain. So the kitchen's the most important place. Although she drew this for us, we would never end up here. I would need to learn more about what this is.
You got time. You got time to change it. You got lots of time to modify it and make some other suggestions or things like that, right? So, all right, guys, thank you so much. I want to do the 12 questions of construction. You guys ready for this?
Yeah, go for it.
Everybody that's been listening to the show, please check them out. 2guys.in.greece for 12 questions. Here you go. What is your favorite construction word?
Ooh. Oh, I've already forgotten it. Isn't that bad? What is it? What's that bob thing?
Oh, the plumb bob. The plumb bob.
Plumb bob. Hands down, plumb bob. Who named this thing?
Bob? I'm
Who's
guessing
Bob?
or Robert. Could have been a Robert. I'm not sure.
Robert.
But Christos?
I'd have to say kufomata.
Ooh.
Kufomata?
Yeah.
And that
kufomata. It's like the doors and windows and I don't know what the word exactly.
The holes of the house?
Yeah, the doors, the windows of the home.
The openings.
All the the openings with the metal surroundings for the glass. I don't know how to tell it. Yeah, the trims.
The track?
I would say trim or the casing.
The casings.
Casings.
The casing.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
What is your least favorite construction word?
No.
Delay.
So basically you guys said no delays. All right. What turns you on in construction?
Oh, goodness.
Stone.
Yeah, stone. Actually, I never thought cutting stone could be so sexy. I could sit there all day. I could be late for work because I'm watching this excavator, like sounds now terrible, drill into the rock. Now you're getting a slow motion. Let's cue the music.
No, there's lots of double entendres in construction. That's why we're in construction. We love it. All right, we totally love it. But are they cutting it? Are they dry cutting or wet cutting it?
It was dry. It was a jack.
Okay, that's right. That's right. I remember. Yeah, I didn't see any hoses hooked up. I guess maybe like a hose from the ocean, and then they kind of siphon it out or something. They're using that. But
nothing like this.
What turns you off in construction?
Scorpions? No.
I absolutely hate dust. So on the same note of cutting rock, which is super awesome, the fucking mess. It sucks. Like
especially stone.
I have ruined all my shoes. I have, I'm the idiot that comes to a construction site in a new pair of Nikes. I hate mess. I'm not very good with it.
Order some grist sports. They're from Italy. They're super comfortable, and then you won't ruin them. They'll last forever.
Yeah.
What is your favorite curse word, gentlemen?
Ooh.
Could be in Greece too. Drake. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I have to think for a sec.
I actually swear a lot in Greek. Sorry, I swear a lot in Greek. When we say damn it, it's kramoto. Like
kramoto?
we say this a lot. Kramoto, yeah. It's like damn it, like fuck. Yeah. So maybe fuck is my
I would have to say malakismeno.
Malakamizeno?
Malakismeno. So malaka directly translates to like
I've heard that one.
A
wanker, yes.
or something. And it's like you're like getting mad at that thing, like you're like fucking wanker thing.
What is your favorite vehicle in the entire world? Well, you guys are living there. You're not really dealing with vehicles, but.
Ooh.
Can we just say that Christos and I have only owned Volkswagen like GTIs and Golfs? For some reason, it's
Before
not
we
intentionally.
met.
Yeah, before we met, we arrived together in each other's lives with he had a GTI, I had a Golf. They're literally the same car.
And I already owned a Golf here in Greece when I was in the military.
Yeah, so we're with a Golf again. It's just I'm gonna throw it out there. Unintentionally, we love the GTI Golf thing happening with Volkswagen.
And it's another story teaching Greg to drive standard on that mountain.
I learned standard here in Greece. Yeah.
You never drove stick before? Ever?
Never. No, flat.
On a mountain. Christos, that'd be a little scary, yeah? Like it's rolling back.
I haven't heard
it's rolling
squeals
back.
like
It's rolling back. It's still rolling back.
Yeah. The whiplash now, we're still doing therapy for the next.
The amount of screaming like a little girl, it was, yeah.
Third gear was scary at one point.
What is your least favorite vehicle in the world?
Oh, the tourist minivans.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Especially like parking up because we don't have much parking by the house, right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden you get these like German tourists show up in their like big minivan things and they're like taking up like 4 stalls on this side of the mountain.
Can't even get a donkey past them, eh?
Yeah. On a hairpin turn too.
What's yours, Greg?
Probably. So we have a lot of the incorrect and not politically correct way to refer to them as gypsies. So don't put this in your recording, but Roma. They tend to drive these beat up, rusty, falling apart trucks. And I am not a fan. I am not a fan. And they don't wear seatbelts and there's too many people in these cars. This is yeah.
What's your favorite what construction sound or noise do you guys love?
Ooh.
This is a good question. A sound
or noise, either or.
We haven't heard it at the house yet, but I do love a nail gun.
Ooh.
I remember when we were building our house when I was a kid.
I have to say so we recently put up our stone team put up a slide so that they could bring concrete down.
Yep.
The sound of the concrete like splashing into the wheelbarrow is what a fascinating noise.
It's interesting that you say that because a lot of people here compare it to the porta potty.
Oh God. Yeah, well now you just ruined that for me. That
I'm sorry.
literally, if your next question is my least favorite sound, it's also this.
What's it, your least? What sound or noise do you guys hate?
Sound I hate.
I hate the sound of tile being cut.
Yeah.
This is bad. Like the grinding of tile. It's awful.
What do I hate? I'm gonna have to say, when they were using the jackhammers to go through our walls to rewire the walls in this apartment, that was super annoying, super loud. It was almost more annoying. I expected the excavation of the mountain to be this horrendous noise, but it was actually surprisingly a very interesting, just like tick 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 tick. It was not that bad. But I just had the jackhammer in the walls of the apartment going through like the bricks.
It's the reverb in the concrete. It's the boxes, right? You've got the mountain, you've got the air. It dissipates, right?
Goes.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's so harsh. What profession other than your own would you guys like to attempt one day?
Ooh,
that's good.
If I were to quit being a pilot and money wasn't an issue, I'd be a bartender.
I have this weird dream of owning a pie shop. I've never made a pie in my life, but I just feel like people selling pies are just, they look
sweet
happy.
And savory
just
pies or just sweet pies?
Any pie.
Pies.
Yeah, any pie. I mean, like,
let him make a pie first before we
What profession would you not like to do?
Working at a Greek bank.
100%.
They're very pleasant there. They're very happy. Go-getters. No, right?
That's like stepping back 300 years in time, going to a bank in Greece.
Wow.
Yeah.
They laid the original stones of the house, huh?
I know, right? Yeah.
Is that both? No, Greg. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What would I not want to do? You know what I couldn't do? I could not be a fisherman or do anything on a boat. Love being on a boat. I would just be sick. Like I need to see the shore. So couldn't work on a cruise. Couldn't work as a fisherman in the middle of the sea. Not gonna happen.
Last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at those pearly gates?
Ooh.
Fuck yeah. I think that's what he's going to say. I'm pretty sure. And it's going to be because of all the incredible things we did here on this earth. It's going to be a high five moment.
Mine's a bit more PG, like, welcome, you made it.
Pretty much means the same thing. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Honestly, a blast talking to you guys. I know it's late there and it's afternoonish here for us, but thank you so much for being on the show and sharing. And I definitely, please keep posting. I love seeing the updates and I love seeing what's going on there. And you never know, maybe I'll catch a flight and pass by and surprise and check it out for good, because I'd love to take a look at it. I love that kind of stuff. Love it.
That'd be awesome.
Please do. You're welcome anytime. And yeah, thanks for having us, letting us tell our story and even reminisce a little bit about what it's like to do what we're doing. We don't give it enough thought. So that was nice.
Great. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Angelina. We are out of here.